Hey, hey world, Tiffany Stacy here, aka Tiffany Wilson, and I'm the owner of Tiffany Stacy Photography and Video LLC. And I typically post or share weekly video tips to help you create better content. But in this case, I'm going to do something a little different. I have a lot of things to share in terms of just in general, like news worthy type of stuff, because I'm starting to think very high level with my content. And, excuse me. And I don't want content that's just about video. I want content that's also going to help people and kind of inform all of you out there of what's kind of going on in the world if you haven't been paying attention. So in this stream, I'm going to share with all of you. Recently, President Biden has signed an executive order that would impact independent vendors with individuals that fix electronics and electronics like cell phones. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of information in regards to that in this live stream. But if you're already aware of this, please feel free to share your thoughts on this because this is a really big thing. And I think people have kind of overlooked it. So I know it's something I'm really excited about because I've had some issues with my electronics. And now knowing that there's going to be some kind of regulations, that's exciting to me. I don't know. I don't know if it might be boring to some people, but that's exciting to me because I've had so many issues. But before we get into that, if you're watching this on YouTube, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to get my content out there, get into the algorithm so more people can see my content. It is an uphill battle. If any of you know about creating video content, you got to consistently put stuff out there. So eventually YouTube will pick you up and more people can see my stuff because I work really hard on this stuff and I really take pride in it. So, and another thing, if you're interested in creating better video content, please feel free to, there's a link in the description box, and you can go and you can put in your email and you can get a checklist on ways that you can basically create better video content. It's a little short checklist. I'm a big checklist person. So I think that might be helpful for you. So anyway, before I get to my main topic, just one little shameless plug I have to put out there. And hopefully I don't forget to take down my screen. As you know, I'm a video editor and photographer. I provide professional services. On the headshot front, I provide headshots, or not on a headshot. On the photography front, I provide headshots and personal branding, as well as event coverage whenever we decide to, have big events again, which that seems to be happening. Also, as a video editor, I take basically existing footage and I turn it into something that looks professional and polished. So if you, as I said in the tagline, are always, I'm always big on looking your best. So if you have existing footage, maybe you're involved in, or maybe you're a public speaker and you need a speaker reel, or I've done YouTube videos, I've done instructional, I've done real estate stuff. It's been a while though. Client testimonials, fundraising videos. I know that video production, there's an expense that comes with that. So if you are interested, please feel free to send me an email. My email is it's in the description, but it's also at the bottom here. So, what is everybody having for lunch today? That's a big thing. This is my first time having a live stream during the lunch hour. I want to do more lunch hour type of live streams because doing them at night, although I'm a night person, I know that it's probably best to do it during the day when people are, I guess searching on LinkedIn or wherever you're at on social media. So, hey, yeah, I am out there during the lunch hour. So share with me what you're having for lunch today. I'm not sure what I'm having for lunch just yet because I probably will have maybe something after I do this live stream. But I have my tea here and in my favorite New York cup that I just love. It's such a nice cup. I love this cup so much. But I'm drinking some herbal tea. So actually some detox tea, because I'm kind of a not a health nut, but I'm always trying to do things to make myself feel better. So yeah, that's what I'm drinking today. So let's get into it. So in video adjacent news, so I think this kind of actually impacts because a lot of us use cell phones. I use my cell phone pretty heavily, and but the thing is, I also drop my cell phone a lot, and I'm always really, really hard on my cell phone. I literally, my screen protector has what you call a military grade screen protector because I'm just so hard on it. And plus, with the case can endure impact like from 7 feet. So, or not 7 feet, from 12 feet. So, if I drop the phone from 12 feet, it will survive. Supposedly, that's what they told me. So, but I figured when it comes to stuff like that, when you do end up breaking it sometimes, like I did with this phone that I had prior, like it just really is messed up. It is, yeah, it was really bothering me. And once I guess my contract was up, I was like, I'm getting me a new phone because I was so embarrassed to pull it out. Like, yes, I drop my phone a lot. So, as you know, if you go and get repairs on your cell phone, you realize how expensive this can be. I was like blown away when I heard that it was like $200 to replace everything and to get this, I guess, the stuff that they need to repair it. And of course, excuse me, of course, if you end up getting something repaired, it might compromise the device's warranty. So, actually, to be correct, July 9th, President Biden, that was a Friday, President Biden had signed an executive order to help with the right to repair, which basically is which basically rules that it will restrict manufacturers from imposing restrictions on independent shops and DIY repairs. So, how do you feel about this topic? Like, this is a big deal because, with repairs, it's really, it should be more affordable, and you should be able, whoever ends up working on your phone, they should be able to get the parts that they need, and just so you can have a fully functional phone. Because I'm the type of person, I don't believe in throwing things away, especially if they're in good working condition. I believe in DIY. Like, for example, I had my lamp over here. Basically, the lamp, the little like knob or whatever, wore out. And so luckily I was able to go on Amazon. I was able to find the parts that I needed, the little knob thing, and also the little cord. I think I got a new cord. And I fixed it. I found a video on YouTube, and that's just one less thing that ends up in the landfill. I'm not a big environmentalist, but I believe in, like, I don't want stuff like this to end up in a landfill. So, hey, I think this, having Biden sign this, is a really big deal. So you're probably asking now, why is this happening? And really, from the fact sheet on whitehouse.gov, it's basically that they're saying that it's, and I'll bring it up here. It's basically to promote competition in the American economy, which will lower prices for families, increase wages for workers, and promote innovation and even faster economic growth. And actually, I forgot to put up my in the news that I made. I worked on this so hard on this. Okay, so basically, the deal is they're looking to level the playing field for the little guy, for us little people out there that aren't big corporations, small business owners. And so the big thing is that with and I have like my notes here. So it's like in over 75% of US industries, a smaller number of large companies now control more of the business that they did 20 years ago. And so that has a trickle down effect when you have that, when you have these when you have these monopolies going on. And this simply means that the lack of competition drives up prices for consumers, leading to increase in, and I'll get into this, like, so with this executive order, there was a number of things that were included in this. So that was kind of the thing that I basically read, that it wasn't just this independent vendor thing. It was a multitude of different things. So but what I was saying is leading to increases in prescription drugs, hearing aids, and internet services. And so also, this also creates barriers to competition that are driving down wages for workers. So it says when there are only a few employers in town, workers have less opportunity to bargain for higher wage and demand dignity and respect in workplace. So inadequate competition holds back economic growth and innovation. So as again, like I said, this is really just to level the playing field. And they said that economists find that competition declines productivity growth, slows down business investments, innovation decline, as well as income, wealth, and racial inequality widens. So so as I was saying, that the executive order not only allows independent vendors to compete in the market, but it will also improve the lives of people. And it goes into detail. Like, there's the fact sheets on whitehouse.gov, and I actually found it very informative. I like stuff like this normally. So I would definitely encourage you to check out this fact sheet, because they had so much information that I had a hard time kind of compiling this information. Like, there was just so much. But on this fact sheet, it was mentioned that it will make it easier to change jobs and help raise wages by banning and limiting non-compete agreements and unnecessary cumbersome occupational licensing requirements that impede economic mobility. So I believe this does happen in the creative industry, but I didn't know it happened in other industries in terms of like non-compete agreements. But that's kind of interesting. I've never signed off on anything like that, so I cannot really comment. But I feel like that's kind of interesting. So, and then it goes on to, it'll help with lowering prescription drug prices, as well as saving Americans on internet bills. So, when you terminate a bill early, they try to hit you with those excessive fees. So that's something that they're trying to clear up as well. And that they can't, and also with, I guess, landlords, they only provide like one internet service that person can utilize. So they're looking into that as well. And also, here's a big thing. Um, it and this has to do with the airline industry. And it says it will make it easier for people to get refunds from airlines and to perish and shop for flights by requiring clear upfront disclosure of add-on fees. So that's the big I needed. That's a huge thing for people that travel. So you know how you get hit up with those fees with the bags and the little fees. So this will help with that, and also with getting refunds, because I know that with COVID, a lot of people had taken vacation, or they were planning on taking a vacation later on in the year last year, and they had to get their money refunded, and it was just a huge mess. Actually, the lady that works on my teeth, she was going to Vegas, and there was some issues with that, and she explained how much of a mess it was to get her money back from an airline. So that I love that too. And so here's the big one is obviously make it easier and cheaper to repair items you own by limiting manufacturers from borrowing self repairs or third party repairs of their products, which is the whole purpose of this video. And then it goes on to it talks about to make it easier and cheaper to switch banks and also increase opportunities for small businesses by directing off federal agencies to promote greater competition through procurement and spending decisions. We'll see about that because I know that there's issues with that as well. That a lot of these contractors with procurement are, a lot of them are being chosen over and over again, and it eliminates the little guy that wants to get in on the game too and make money as well. So again, hey, if you are interested in this topic or you have any personal opinions on this, please feel free to share your comments. If not, please also you can like this video because that helps as well with engagement. So please share. I mean, I'm here on live and I like to know what people's opinions are about this. So later on in the document, in the fact sheet document, it pretty much goes into a little bit more detail. And so they're saying that, the cell phone companies and others are blocking out independent repair shops. So tech and other companies impose restrictions on self and third party repairs, making repairs more costly and time consuming, such as by restricting the distribution of parts, diagnosis, and repair tools. Let me make sure I didn't jump. Okay. And so the president was really just encouraging that the FTC, which is the Federal Trade Commission, basically encouraging them to issue rules against anti-competitive restrictions on using independent repair shops or doing DIY of your own devices and equipment. So that's yeah, that's really interesting. So here's the thing, like I'm trying to think of a something that I had recently that aside from my phone, I want to see if this would actually happen, if this is actually going to have any impact on uh, you know, so I got my car worked on a few years ago and I had a situation where I had a gentleman that was working on my car and he needed to get parts from the dealership. Well, it was a big fiasco and at the end of the day uh I ended up having to not work with him and I had to end up going to to the dealership, which is where I should have went from the beginning instead of going through this headache with this guy. Basically, oh, I know what it was. He basically, I was having some issues with my, like when you hit the ignition on your car, it wouldn't turn over. So it was because it was worn out. The car is like 11, 12 years old. So it was really time. But I figured there was this guy I knew and I decided to let him work on my car, but he could not figure out what the problem was. And all I remember was my steering wheel was off my car. He was holding my steering wheel and he was like, well, we're still trying, because I was there. He had like a little area, a little shop that he was working out of. So I just was like, please just put my car back together. You obviously don't know what's going on and you don't know what you're doing. So just please put my car back together. So he put my car back together. I ended up paying him $75 because that was what the price was for the diagnostics. But the panic I was feeling in my heart from just dealing with him. But anyway, I had to go and take the car to the shop. And, obviously they had all the parts there. So I should have been able to go there I should have went there from the get-go. But that's just my thought process that you have to go through, the dealership, in the dealership only to get these, get the things that you need for these repairs. So of course, and this big thing is it's about making money and these corporations are making money by, obviously on the back end, through repairs, because they know that will, especially when you have big things like big purchases, like, your electronic devices, and like in my case, my car, it's like, yeah, you got to go through them to get it done and get it serviced. So yeah, I just really hope, I don't know, and I don't think they gave like a deadline of when this is going to happen. I believe this is like immediately, but they still have to create the rules that are, um a g- I guess that these companies have to abide by. So it could take some time, because how in government everything takes time. so so yeah. But anyway, I wanted to kind of move on. There was one other point that I found in here that I really liked, that I thought I would share with all of you out there. And they talked about basically big tech and, this whole data mining situation. um so, the situation where, big tech, I'm going to read through it, big tech platforms unfairly competing with small businesses. The large platforms like Facebook, and, you have IG, which is owned by Facebook, Twitter and all that good stuff. And TikTok, I'm assuming, is probably going to go in here somewhere. But the large platforms power gives them unfair opportunities to get a leg up on the small businesses that rely on them to reach customers. For example, companies that run dominant online retail marketplaces can see how small business products sell and then use the data to launch their own competing products. Because they run the platform, they can display their own copycat products more prominently than the small business products can, basically. So we saw this basically with Amazon. So Amazon, I believe what they were doing is, if there was a product that like a little small vendor was selling, they would sell that product. Amazon would start selling that product. And I'm just guessing, but I'm assuming that they probably sold it at a little of a cheaper price. And so what would happen is that would knock out the smaller vendor, and they couldn't make money on the platform. So this is just allowing, and uh, the smaller guy to, reap some of the benefits. Like, these big companies should not be the only ones that reap it. So in this order, really, it was just saying that FTC is to establish rules barring unfair, unfair methods of competition on internet marketplaces. So yeah, this is, I- I have such a heart for just people, small business owners. So you'll see a lot of topics on small business stuff, because I'm a small business owner, and I know how hard it is. I know how hard it is to take a risk, invest all your money, and hope that, things will happen from it. So I will always have a soft spot for small businesses and, people that are just trying to get started. I will always support them. So I have some side notes here that I found in an article that I was reading. And so the big thing is advocates, really just want manufacturers to make devices longer lasting. So big thing is, like, I can think of so many things that I've had over the years that have not lasted. Obviously with phones, like, this is literally this is my third cell phone. My first cell phone was with LG, which we saw what happened with LG. They're not around. And that was I had that phone in 2014, and it did not last. Like, the little port on the where you charge it at did not last. And so, and even like I've seen with appliances, things that just break down after a few years. I remember there was a time when you could get quality stuff and it would last you forever. I think my generation, the millennial generation, particularly the older millennials, we've seen the transition, and it's just very sad that you can't keep stuff for longer than just, it's like, now it's like things only last like a year. Case in point, my Fitbits. I'm a big, so I love being active, and I went through like four Fitbits in like 2 years. So I had to be done with Fitbit because I was spending like $150, for these Fitbits, and they weren't lasting. And I wear them every day. I'm not really hard on them. I just wear them. I don't bang them up against stuff, but they just weren't lasting. So this is something that really needs to. I understand that companies want to save money in every way that they can, but they they have to realize that in the long term they end up losing customers because we figure out that they're not making stuff that's of quality. So, like, they lost me. I love Fitbit. I love using the app. You know, some of my fitness friends were on there. So once my last Fitbit went down, I was over it. So I got a little cheap. I'm not gonna even say that. No, I got a decent little fitness watch that I really actually like, and I didn't have to spend that amount of money. I believe in spending the money, but at the end of the day, if it's not something that's going to end up lasting, then I don't see a point in spending a bunch of money and then I'm kind of getting ripped off. So, which I just had a situation this weekend. So I don't know if you know, I roller skate for fun, like, during the evenings, and I picked it up over the spring. I was finally able to find some skates and I purchased them. And these things, there's like this little like pivot area that it's very vital to how your skates move. And so that completely broke off over the weekend. So I was really sad about that. So I'm just kind of like, stuff like that makes me really mad because it's like, why wouldn't you use quality products that are actually going to last? So you kind of are able to keep me as a customer on the long term. That I don't understand. So I think about these things. But anyway, as I was saying, advocates want manufacturers to make devices longer lasting and to supply parts and detailed manuals to anyone. That's that's funny. I like the detailed manuals because if you notice over time, sometimes you don't even get a manual. Sometimes like, okay, go to this website. Go to this website and I'm going to take this down. and hope for the best. So, I love the IKEA directions that just you literally want to pull your hair out, which this desk basically was an IKEA desk, and I wanted to strangle somebody midway through through the process. But I love this desk. This is perfect for me, for my computers and stuff. So yeah, so such practices could give consumers more options for where to get a device fixed and also lead to more competitive pricing. So yeah, I think this is great for people who are already specializing that in fixing devices. And so they also said that the FTC report also found that the burden of repair restrictions may fall heavily on communities of color and lower income communities because many independent repair shops are owned by people of color because of hit high cost repairs hit low income consumers harder. Yep, I can definitely see that. So, which makes me wonder what happened to. Oop, let me turn that off. My alarm. Which makes me wonder. I remember I saw this recently where of all the changes with Verizon, they used to have like those authorized real retailers. They no longer have those signs, so that's always kind of interesting to me. And I know that I've went to those for repairs in the past, but I've given up on repairs with my phone. Once I break it, it is over. I'm just like, so my thing is just preventive, I guess preventive maintenance in a sense. Just getting the things that I need to make sure that it lasts. And this phone I think I've had this phone almost 3 years actually. So I'm just like, I'm going to take care of this phone it is paid off. I don't want the extra expense. so, um, so let's see what else. Oh, and so the big thing in this, and I did mention this kind of early on, is that beyond that, making fixes more accessible would likely extend a device's life, which in turn could help reduce carbon emissions. And it says with the iPhone 12, for example, 83% of emissions generated by the device's life cycle come from production, according to the Apple environmental report. So, yeah, I think that so this is good for the environment. Again, I'm all about DIY. I'm all about getting stuff repaired and not having to pay full price for a phone. And especially with, you know, I have this phone. I could just easily throw this thing in the garbage, but I choose not to because you just never know. There might be hard times and I might need that phone. But yeah, I'm all about saving money for the consumer. I'm also about just the environment. Obviously, there's a cause of concern with the environment now with this climate control situation. And as you can see, this summer it's rained like a good portion of the summer, and it's just like the weather's really strange, and so it's like this stuff is happening. This stuff is for real. So, we should have been taking heed many years ago, but we chose not to. So anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. But um yeah, so tell me what you think. If you watch this on a replay, please feel free to share your opinion on this. This is a big deal. I want to see what's going to happen in terms of what these guidelines are going to be. I want to see how this changes. Hopefully I won't need any repairs on anything for a while. But yeah. So if you like this, please let me know, because I enjoy, I come from the news world, so I'm always going to be kind of informed about different things. I don't always stay on top of stuff, but when it's kind of like business related stuff, I I'm very interested in it. So yeah, let me know if you like these. So I will definitely get back to probably making some video how to stuff soon here, but these are just topics that I thought that would be interesting for the audience as a whole, that can help you save money, because that's very important. So you go to things that are important to you. So anyway, I will be back again. If you are looking to create better video content, check out the checklist, like me or comment and subscribe on YouTube or any of my social media. All my social media stuff is there. If you need a photographer or video editor, that link is there as well. So I will be back. I'm pretty busy the rest of the week, but I will definitely be back next week with another topic. So in the meantime, please stay healthy and safe, and I will be back next week. All right. Bye-bye.